Hello, everybody. Hi. Welcome to our AAM Live. We are so excited to be going live with El Truchan. She is an amazing paramedical artist located, well, she does all things, so let me not just say paramedical, but she's a specialist in some really interesting techniques, including web toes. She's going to be doing a webinar talking about the weird and the wonderful, and she specializes in things that you wouldn't normally see. And you may have gotten requested these services before and you're like, I don't know how to handle this. So I want you to get to know Elle because she's an amazing artist. And yeah, so Elle, I see that you've requested. Also, I just want to say, if you have not gotten your tickets for the AAMPU Summit 2024, please check out the link in our bio. You don't want to wait until the prices go up. We are so excited about the lineup. We're going to start announcing speakers soon. So definitely go check out the link in our bio. And if you're not a member of the AAM, just know we have webinars every week almost. And those webinar replays go into the library and you're able to rewatch them. So you're losing out on free training when you're not a member of the AAM. So DM us the word member so that you can become a member today. I see she's requested. Now we're gonna get her on here. Hi everybody, hi. Hello. Let's see.
Hey.
Hello, stranger. Long time no see.
Right?
How are you,
You hear?
Elle?
Sounds good.
Everything sounds great. Yes, I'm just going to turn myself up just so I can hear you a little bit better. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Lots going on as usual, but when doesn't ever?
Right. I love that lush background you have there. That's not typical for the UK. It looks like you're in some tropical paradise.
That's my plans. I live in a jungle inside my London place. I have plants everywhere. Yeah, I'm crazy about plants. I like living things all around.
Amazing. Well, for the people who don't have the pleasure of knowing you the way that I know you, can you tell them a little bit about who you are and, you know, what your specialties are and some of the fun things that you're working on? And then I want them to get to know you a little bit better like I know you.
Sure. So I'm Elle. Hi, everyone. The full name is Elle Truchan. Good luck pronouncing it. I'm from Poland originally. I've been living in London for a very long time, so I'm Polish Londoner. I am PMU, SMP, medical micropigmentation, artist. That's what I do all day, every day. I'm also an educator, so I've been tattooing full-time for the cosmetic and medical purposes for 9 years now, and I've been teaching previously for Pro as one of the trainers, and now for my own academy. So I'm owner of Perfect Definition, Scout Micro Definition, and Perfect Definition Academy. So I have a little Bermuda Triangle of services that we can provide you and other people with. So some are for clients, some are for students. So we look after everyone we can. On the Perfect Definition Academy, I keep with Kinska, who is friends, and she's a physiotherapist. So
your sound is breaking up just a little bit.
Ooh.
Let's see.
Is it the sound right, or am I too far? Am I too close?
I don't know if it's a sound, that kind of sound issue. It sounded like the internet connection or something, but it's better now. I like you closer. That's good. Yeah, this is good. But we heard everything you said except for the part about the physical therapist.
So Natalia is actually an incredible, high-skilled, trained medical physiotherapist, and she will be helping with all the anatomy and physiology part of our education platforms. Plus, she will be running her own courses for her own scope of knowledge, so physio and so on, sports injury therapies and stuff like that. But together we have Perfect Definition Academy. And what else? I won some awards. I've been on some different platforms for education, for conferences. I've been a demonstrator, I've been a judge, I've been article for years as well. So there is a little bit of me everywhere.
Yeah. That's so true. So
I'm
sorry for interrupting.
What I this year as well, but yeah.
Yeah, what I wanted people to do is, you know, our webinar is happening next week. You're going to be doing a webinar that's basically going to introduce people to some like weird and wonderful stuff, right? As it relates to, that's like your term. That's how I remember you. Like
that is my tagline, weird and wonderful.
Weird and wonderful. And you've become somewhat of well, you become a specialist in all things web toes. And I know that, I'm sure that there was a first moment where you're like, I need to figure this out because I'm getting this request. And I'm sure, like, can you tell us a little bit about how you got into the sphere of web toes?
So I've been tattooing for a few years at that point, and doing nipples and scalp, areola, cleft lip, vitiligo. I'm a vitiligo patient myself, so that came in really early as well because I have a highly extended knowledge on the topic, having it myself, the condition. And one day I'm getting an email from a potential client asking, oh, have you ever tattooed those? And he sent me a picture of his web toes. And I was like, no, but I've tattooed pretty much everything else in every possible shape over any part of the body and the face and the scalp. I think we can do it. So I said, if you trust me to do it, you know, come on in. So he did, and we did. So we worked it out. It was a very long appointment because I didn't know. I knew what I was going to do, but I didn't know what I was going to do. So so we've done it. We literally made it up as we went along of the day, and he eventually needed 3 sessions to get it to the final result that he was happy with. And actually, as it turned out over the years, 2 to 3 sessions is the regular amount that we need anyway. It's rarely happening with one. Only happened a couple of times with just 1 session that is like, boom, that's perfect heal. We're going to do anything. On average, it's 2 to 3. So I wasn't that far out. And from then onwards, everyone that came in was completely different. So I couldn't just repeat what I did at the first time because all the web toes, you believe it or not, different from each other. So they are different lengths because they can be like full fusion, shorter fusion, mid fusion. So I had to work all of this out each time the client came in. I was like, okay, what are we doing here now? So I said, wider gaps, then partially open, partially closed. And you're thinking, okay. And at some point you're like, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. Oh, yeah, I'm good. And then different ethnicity comes in. And then there is a lady, then there is a gentleman. So I think I've pretty much seen already all of them, both feet, singular feet. Yeah, I think I've got good knowledge on it. So I thought there is really a lot of people who do this. And the attempts that I've seen before, I didn't see being done that well. Nowhere near the results that I got even after my first attempt. But again, I've been doing medical tattooing and cosmetic tattooing for those kind of conditions and reasons, not the specific one, for a very long time. So I kind of could apply all my previous knowledge to it. So I thought there are so many people around the world with this condition. They actually born about 75,000 every year. So there's a lot that need some help from us, and they don't talk about it. A lot of people can't afford surgery. So I put all my knowledge together and I bundled it up, and I want to share it with everyone so all the other artists can help other people. And more of us show that we can do this kind of work, more people will come forward to get our help. You know, there are small alternatives like surgery, for example, and those are expensive. It's like 4K a foot in UK. I don't know if it's imagine it would be something similar or more expensive because you guys, you know, you have very, very costly medical services in US. So I can imagine other countries also will be quite pricey. And not a lot of surgeons specialize in it as well. So those clients, patients are kind of left alone. No one really cares that much to help them. It's like, it's just cosmetic, not a big deal. Well, it is to them. So as a vitiligo patient, I totally know what that means to a person when you have the cosmetic thing that still affects you massively. So for me, it was really like, yeah, I'm going in. So I decided to bundle up and share with everyone out there. So yeah, there are options. And artists can, ask me for help, and I'm always happy to help.
Yeah, and so if you see her Instagram handle, it's connected to this live. Now you're gonna go over more so like other things about related to the technique and things like that as it pertains to web toes in the webinar that you're going to be doing for our AAM members. Now, if you're not a member, again, you really do, if you want to watch the replay, you need to be a member. It's worth it. Trust me, the library access that you're going to get is incredible. But I want people to kind of get to know you a little bit better. So I want you to just really think back. Tell me, like, give me a story of like maybe one of the craziest or most interesting situations that you encountered with a client that came in that you were just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I want to know like something fun about you, something funny. I know you have a great sense of humor, but I'm just curious. Give the audience a little peek into your personality.
Where do we start? So I think I can think of two. I had a very nervous lady coming in, and that's just purely cosmetic. She came for her eyebrows. She didn't have much of the hair on the eyebrows. Fine, not a problem. I've done thousands of them. We all good. But to her, it's a new thing. So she's so nervous. And the more nervous she gets, I get funny. So I start making jokes. And we keep going through it, and I'm making her giggle here, giggle there. And now it's time for the treatment. I know she's going to get really nervous because that's the actual part now that we're going to be doing. So I stood in front of her and I go, hey, my lovely. So we're going to be slicing and dicing now. She burst out laughing. She goes, oh my God, you are so funny and you made me laugh and I'm so relaxed. I think I'm good to go. And she just lay down and she was fine from there onwards. But we took about 5 minutes for her to stop laughing from the slicing and dicing. I was going to do her microblading, so slicing and dicing time. She burst out laughing. So that was one of the funny ones. And another one was with web toes, actually. I think it was the 4th or 5th client. And I was doing a little video filming. I'm there with my camera right next to her foot. And she's got her foot down. And for some reason, I don't even know, I said that, and now give me a little wiggle. And she goes, with that's actually on one of the behind the scenes and of the videos of the before of the web toes. So that made it into the course that I created as well. So yeah, it's just random stuff often comes out from my mouth unexpectedly, as you've heard it before. There is no really a filter. So you get what you see pretty much at all times.
That is so true. I've had the pleasure of knowing you for quite a while now, and I will say that you're such a knowledgeable person, especially as it pertains to web toes specifically, but all the other things that you do and that you offer. Now, what made I know that you were in like a completely different field in the past. You were in banking, if I'm not mistaken. If you could redo everything, and let's just say you could not do permanent makeup, where would we find Elle?
So I did the banking. I was a stockbroker for quite a while, and I was a little bit of a signature stockbroker as well, because at that time I was kind of the only female on the trading floor. So yeah, that's where all my swear words come from. Actually, that was my learning grounds, and I brought it forward with me. Next, you have 2 options. Either we go really high or we go really low. So either we're gonna keep jumping out of the airplanes with the parachutes, which I'm madly in love with. I just want to do it all day, every day now. It's like, I'm gonna jump out of airplane. It's like, who does that? Me. Or we're gonna go deep into the tunnels with the scuba diving equipment under the ground where there are single way entry and exit points, and just do cave scuba diving. That usually happens in Mexico. You know, I love going there. But it could happen anywhere. There are places around the world that have all those tunnels and stuff. And I love it. Scarier it gets, more excited I get. I think I'm a adrenaline junkie at this point. I think I have to admit to it.
It sounds like it. I mean, I don't know, the skydiving and then also the one way in, one way out kind of thing. They both sound about the same to me. Like, knocks your air out of, you know, the wind out of you. But it definitely shows kind of your personality. And yes, I do think you're an adrenaline junkie. It's official. It's so interesting. Tell me, how did you segue from banking and stockbroker, like on the floor, the trading floor, to permanent makeup? Like, give us a little bit of background. I know we don't have that much more time, but tell me a little bit about that.
So I actually was never trained in beauty, and honestly, I don't really have any interest in beauty. I don't wear much makeup. All my makeup styles are really natural, and they kind of cater for the very professional demographic that are fairly natural. They just want some small improvements. So I was getting my own permanent makeup done when I was in banking because I had to be on my desk at 6 o'clock in the morning, and my face was not alive at that point. So for the convenience, I was getting it done, and that was like happening for a while, nothing exciting, never considering the job. And then my best childhood friend, who from Poland moved to US, she was going through breast cancer. And we were chatting on like emails, and Facebook just kind of, you know, the messenger came out and you could send yourself messages and so on. So we were talking about her upcoming surgery, and she was telling me that once she recovers, she was going to have her nipples and areolas tattooed. And I'm like, what do you mean tattooed? Like what? Like dragon? And she goes, no, not quite. You know, like you having your eyebrows done and eyeliner done. And I'm like, yes. She said, there are people, not many, but there are people who do that. And, you know, my care people told me that this is an option. So I wanted to tell you about it because I know you've got your eyebrows. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, yeah, we just chatted about that. And Ula never actually made it to that point. So she passed away a few years ago. So that was a while back now, before I started what I'm doing. And once she passed away, on some point I was going to see my lady for my refresh, my annual maintenance color boost, and I took my mom with me. She wanted eyeliner. So when my mom was laying down on the bed, I was thinking actually about what Ula told me, because the first time I'm actually sitting and watching the treatment, not like there, you know, thinking like, oh my God, don't stab me in an eye or whatever. I was there with my mom and watching the treatment, and I started to talk with the lady that was doing my mom's treatment, and I said, like, do you know about this nipple and areola? Because my friend was asking, and she passed away, and I've been thinking about it. And she goes, yes, you can learn this. I was like, oh, like, how does it work? So she told me a little bit about it, and she said you can learn. There are a couple of places in England at that time only. I was like, oh, okay. So I took some details from her, and just weirdly enough, on a whim, I contacted them. So I just sent them emails, and the ones that I could find, which were the ones that she said, they responded. I communicated with them a little bit, and they said you have to do the first beginners trainings first if you are interested. And I didn't know if I was, but I thought, okay, I'm gonna do it. I tend to do things like that. I just decided on a spot. So I booked it. It was so expensive. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe how much the training was. So everyone watching now, if you're moaning about your £2,000 training, don't. Because I spent about 45K and British money, not dollars, on education up to date. So when I went to the original training, you know, you had to go through the eyebrows, eyeliners, lips, and then you slowly could progress towards the medical. And that's what I did. I just powered through, and I quit my job like almost immediately after and just went for that. And that was 9 years ago, and here we are.
Wow, that's amazing.
It was Ula's birthday on Monday, actually. So yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I'm really sorry about your loss with your friend. I'm sorry about that.
She's good. She's looking after me. She's making sure I'm doing those nipples.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah, I mean, what an amazing little nugget to leave you with, because now, I mean, looking back, it's like wow, she's started that conversation,
Yeah.
and now you're at that point where you can help so many people in all different ways, you know, not just
Yeah.
the cosmetic way, but also, in my opinion, you know, even though they consider, you know, web toes cosmetic, I don't believe, I believe that it's up to you. It depends on how you feel about it. Like, it could maybe be cosmetic for some people, but for some people it could be medical. Like, I think that's
Medical.
medical, you know?
Yeah,
And so,
nipples, scalp, web toes, fingernails, toenails, body areas, vitiligo, I will say all of those are medical because even eyebrows can be medical for alopecia or
yeah,
chemo, during chemo, you know, especially when there is a medical condition involvement or medical need for it, that goes under medical in my scope.
agreed.
Cosmetic is just to make someone prettier, not because they need it, because they want it.
Yeah,
But for anyone who needs it because something happened, that's medical. That's how I classify it.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And so it's unfortunate that surgeons classify it somewhat as cosmetic. You know what I mean? Because I do agree with you that it is more so medical than it is cosmetic. But I can also see, like, where the insurance companies, it could get tricky and stuff like that. But you know what's amazing is that you educate people on how to approach the situation. You do lots of demonstrations in your course. I know that. I've had the pleasure of glancing over some stuff. So, and it's been very useful information. And so I'm really excited for everybody to get to know you even better and to know more about the paramedical aspect on the webinar that we're having next Wednesday. That would be the 14th. Please remind me if I'm wrong.
14,
14th.
12 o'clock your time, 6 o'clock my time.
You're the best. 12 o'clock Central Standard Time, 10 o'clock Pacific Standard, 11 Mountain Standard, and 1 o'clock Eastern Standard. I've got it down to a science at this point. But for those of you who want to join that webinar, you should be part of our email list because we do send out those emails beforehand. Also, you can just message us webinar on DM and we will send you the Zoom information so you can join. You can watch it even if you're not a member of the AAM. However, you have to be a member to watch the replay. And that does live in our extensive library. So be sure to become a member. We have different options depending on how long you've been in the industry. But I just want to thank you so much, Elle, for joining me, showing people a little bit of your kindness and your funniness, so that they can get excited to watch, you know, more of the educational portion in our webinar next week. So do you have anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Oh, just massive thank you to you as well for taking your time and, you know, being a great supporter as well. Yeah, and thank you for having me. I'm glad I could hopefully help some other people find their way into helping others.
For sure you will. And yes, go follow Elle, give her some love, and there's resources I'm sure she has on her bio. And I'm really excited to see you next week. So everybody stay tuned for next week's Paramedical Weird and Wonderful informational webinar that we're going to have, educational webinar. Thank you so much, Elle. Thanks everybody for watching, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their week. Okay,
Thank you.
bye.